Hey everybody, it's Dak here from the Ed Boys, and welcome to our RuneScape 2007 1-99 Thieving Guide. There's a lot of different ways to train thieving. Keep that in mind. These are just the methods that I prefer to use. There are a few important items that you're going to want to get for this guide. The Rogue's equipment can be obtained from the Rogue's Den minigame, which does require 50 agility and thieving, so you clearly can't get this at the start of your 99 thieving. The Rogue's Den is just a maze of traps, and at the end you can steal a reward, which could be a piece of Rogue's equipment. I believe each lap has a 1 in 8 chance of being a piece of equipment, and you get to choose which piece you get, so you can't duplicate pieces anymore. If you pickpocket while you're wearing the full Rogue's gear, you get twice as many coins, so getting this gear can grab you like 5 mil plus along the way to 99 thieving. Another helpful item for pickpocketing is the Dodgy Necklace. Dodgy necklaces have 10 charges, and every time you fail a pickpocket, there's a 25% chance that you don't get stunned or take any damage, so you can keep pickpocketing. This adds a few KXP per hour, which is not an insane bonus by any means, but they are tradable and really cheap, so why not use them? Another helpful item for thieving is the Ardoin Cloak, which can be grabbed from the Ardoin Achievement Diaries. The level 1 cloak gives a plus 10 chance at successfully thieving from a stall, which is not very big, but the level 2 cloak gives a plus 10% chance at pickpocketing in Ardoin, which is very nice. The level 3 cloak allows you to use this bonus anywhere, not just Ardoin, but most of your pickpocketing is going to be here, so you really only have to get the level 2 cloak, and you don't have to wear it, it just has to be in your inventory. Before we jump into the leveling guide, let's talk about a couple of quests that you could do to start your thieving. Thieving's pretty fast at the start, so the quests aren't really crucial, but it's never a bad idea to get a few quests done and skip some of the levels. The Haziel Cult quest has no requirements, and it's going to take you from 1 to 11 thieving. You could also do Biohazard and the Fight Arena, which do have some requirements, but they're still not really high level stuff, very easy to do. And the combination of all three would take you from 1 to 20 thieving, skipping the first 2 sections of this leveling guide. Let's jump right into the leveling guide. From levels 1 to 5, you don't really have a lot of choices, so you should pickpocket some of the poor citizens around RuneScape. Men and women can be found in really any town, but Lumbridge is probably the simplest one to get to. You can potentially trap someone in a house so that they don't walk around as much when you try to pickpocket, but you're not going to be here very long, so it's not a very big deal. 5 to 20, I would move on to cake stalls. You can also steal from tea stalls, which are the same XP. I just use the cake stalls in Ardoin for these levels though. Lower level players, or even Ironmen, can really benefit from all the cakes and the bread that you grab at these cake stalls from this part. So this is actually, as simple of a level as it is, can be kind of important. Levels 20 to 25, you can move over to silk stalls, which are in the same plaza as the cake stalls in Ardoin. Silk isn't really as helpful as cake by any means, but the XP boost, you're going to get to level 25 in no time. Levels 25 to 35, I would move on to the Ardoin Castle and start pickpocketing warriors. You'll do enough pickpocketing in this section that you're probably going to want to bring some food with you, since you're going to take a decent amount of damage. You can potentially move to the next step as early as 31. I just like to grab 35 here because it does help with the fail rates of the next step. If you do go to your settings, click the joystick, and change your NPC attack option to always right click, you can just kind of spam click to pickpocket instead of right clicking them every time. Levels 35 to 55, I would move on to Pyramid Plunder. A lot of players stop at level 45 to move on to Blackjacking, which does require partial completion of the feud quest. Blackjacking is faster XP than Pyramid Plunder for some of these levels, but it's super click intensive and requires a lot of focus to manage those XP rates, so I prefer to skip Blackjacking altogether. At first, you're only going to be able to do the first 2 rooms of Pyramid Plunder. To get there, I would use the Pharaoh's Scepter, which is pretty pricey for just a teleport, but you can pay it back later during the Pyramid Plunder. You'll definitely make this money back, and you can charge it up with some of the rewards you get from Pyramid Plunder. Talk to the Guardian Mummy to start the pyramid. Just for now, loot the urns and then move on to the next room. You can move on to the next room a little bit easier if you bring a lockpick when you try to pick these doors. At level 41, you can unlock room 3, and 51, you're going to get room 4. If you find yourself running out of time before you can get to the last room, you can just start skipping the early rooms. So instead of trying to do rooms 1, 2, 3, and 4, if you find yourself not quick enough, just do 2, 3, and 4, because the earlier rooms don't give as much XP. You can potentially go all the way to 99 on Pyramid Plunder if you do like the minigame. It is some of the best XP in the game, but I do like to add one step in between. Levels 55 to 91, I moved over to Ardy Knights. If you haven't gone and grabbed your Rogue's equipment yet, I would be sure to do that before this step. It's basically going to pay for your Pharaoh's Scepter, which is kind of nice. You can set up the Ardy Knight to get stuck in these 2 squares, so you never really have to move your mouse when pickpocketing. You don't always have to set this up yourself because there's generally a lot of people using this method, so a lot of the times the knight is already going to be in the spot. Unfortunately, with a lot of people, they did recently decrease this. When more people are pickpocketing on something, it does slow down the speed. They made an update on that so that it's not as big of a deal, but for real, with more people, it is a little bit more of a hassle, so sometimes it is nicer just to switch worlds and try to set up your own. So we find ourselves in a world with no knight currently trapped. That means we have to go find the correct knight. This can be a little bit difficult at first if you don't really understand which knight to grab. He usually will be standing on either the east side of the square here, maybe a little bit on the south side, or even below the square. Some people may even have taken him into this building because it's another building you can trap him in. So be sure to check that building too. I don't know that method quite too well, so I'm not going to try to explain that one to you. We're just going to learn how to trap him in this building. So first things first, we have to go find the knight. I kind of think that this knight trapped in this building right now might be the one, so I'm going to grab him and test it. This is the worst part. Once you've grabbed the right knight and you have him... this person's in my way. Zanisha, please move. Once you have the right knights, you can start spamming some thieving. So as much as this part kind of blows, you really only have to do it once unless you decide to hop worlds often, or you have to, for any reason, you leave your computer often and have to continue to set it up. I believe I've got the right knight on my hands. What I'm going to do is chase him up to this building. Excuse me, have him chase me up to this building. When I try to walk into the building, if I stand in the doorway, he should still stand there. But if I take one more step in, he's going to stop attacking me because that's out of his range, if I'm not mistaken. So if I walk in here, he can't follow me. That means this is the correct knight. I'm going to go ahead and attack him again so that he is following me. This should take me 3 specs with my Zami Spear. Excuse me, this is a D Spear, but you could use a Zami Spear or a Zami Hasta too. I believe only the Zami Spear has the right effect. I don't know if the Hasta works off the top of my head, to be honest. You could also potentially just walk onto the knight to get him to walk wherever you need him to go. You just can't guarantee he's going to go to the right spot when you walk under him, so it's not really a great strategy. Go ahead and get to the knight standing in this square. We got to wait for this hero to get out of the way. Don't go in there, god damn it. No! Oh my god, thank you. Alright, now, I waited so long for him to leave. Now that the knight's not in the way, I'm going to go ahead and spec him once to back him into the doorway. Run south real quick. Spec him again to back him up one more time. Run in the doorway. And then one more spec to make sure he is in the house while I close the door on him. Go ahead and run to this south part of the house. And this knight now can't walk north, so he is stuck in these 2 squares. Which means when I go ahead and run away a little bit to unaggro him and then run back, I can just pickpocket from him and he will never run out of there. The reason you can't just trap him in one space instead is because they despawn if they can't move for 5 minutes. So he has to be able to walk between these 2 spaces. Now I can zoom in a little bit, try to find the sweet spot, and just kind of go ham on some thieving. This turns out to be pretty good XP, not quite as much as blackjacking, a little bit less than blackjacking, and definitely less than the next step. But either way, you could do this all the way to 99. It is really simple, decent chance for the pet, and you'll make some decent cash on it. So, not a bad method. Overall, the worst part is getting the knight ready, but now you can just crank. Levels 91 to 99, I would head back to Pyramid Plunder. At these levels, I would only take from the urns in rooms 7 and 8. Also make sure that you take from the golden chest in these rooms, as you are guaranteed to get some valuable rewards from them. These rewards can be traded in to recharge your scepter. I believe all the rewards in here can be traded in, but the golden ones you don't have to trade quite as many. This method is the best XP in the game, and the best chance at the pet if I'm not mistaken. You can also get a Pharaoh's Scepter in here. I believe it's a 1 in 1,000 chance from the final golden chest. That could make you a little bit of extra cash. The odds are you're going to get a couple on the way to 99. I believe that's all the information I really wanted to give you about thieving. I usually have like a moneymaker in the end, but all the methods that I use here are actually the best ways to make money with thieving. That's really all you do with thieving, just take stuff, so it's purely a moneymaker, but you're just not going to make a ton. I also mentioned about how I skipped blackjacking. A lot of people do blackjacking because it is pretty fast XP once you're doing it right. Just in my opinion, not worth the effort. Doing Arty Knights or Pyramid Plunder is a little bit slower at XP, but really not that much slower, and it's just so much easier on your brain, man. If you have any questions or tips of your own, be sure to leave them in the comments section. I will update the description with all the information that I feel needs to be added after the video is uploaded. Thank you very much for watching, everybody, and best of luck with your thieving.